some things, that Esau does, most things, they directly correlate with a precept or a parable, all right, which is still a precept, all right, or a law, and you can cross-reference it. All right. Some more? Read it again.
So Sirach chapter 12 verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Yeah, Psalms 55 verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war is in his heart. His words are salted and oily, yet they were drawn swords.
Yeah, that's how Esau talks. He talks in the kindly to your front, but behind he has ulterior motives. All right, and he's all about money. It said that for the love of money is the root of all evil. All right, money is pretty much control. That's why they're trying to bring in this central bank digital currency, the CBDCs, so they can control all the money. So they can pre-tax you. That's one thing, avenue they can do. They can pre-tax you. They can tax you on everything. So there's no more under the table, no more reporting only 50% of your income. Like barbers and hairdressers do. They don't report all the income. The government knows that. Right? So when you say self-employed, they know that a certain percentage of the people are going to take advantage, claim things that they didn't do, that the government can't necessarily disprove. They can't disprove it. They can provide the evidence. Self-employed person can provide the evidence. But the government can't disprove the evidence. So they have to take that face value. So you get a certain amount of tax write-offs. So when Esau takes the taxes automatically out, they're going to get 100% of the taxes coming to them. All right, and that's more control. All right, because the scriptures say, give me the borrower servant to the lender. This is how Esau is going to control you. Borrower is servant to the lender. You look at borrower, read that. Well, you got to read it. That's so secret.
Proverbs 22 verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
Right, we're the borrowers. All right? Everybody borrows from the Federal Reserve. And if you don't directly borrow, where you got the money from is borrowed. All right? So we're technically slaves to Esau. We're the borrower. The borrower is servant to the lender. So we're all slaves. Esau is following a simple formula to get rich. Two ways you get rich. So you need two things. All you need is an asset and slaves. Once you have the asset and slaves, you get rich. All right? Go ahead, read.
Yeah, H3867. To join, to be joined. To join, to be joined. To attend. To borrow, to lend. To borrow. To cause to borrow. To lend to.
All right, to lend to. So Esau, he borrows out. He lends out. He lends to the people. And the people become his slaves. All right? So we're all, human resources, assets. So we work for him. Like if you get your taxes reduced, if you have employees, then your employees take on part of the tax. All right. So if you're an investor or a business owner and you have slaves, you get 20% to 0% in tax, and you pass the tax on to your slaves. That's how you get rich. You have an asset, and then you have employees. Right. That's one formula, and that's what Esau does. Esau got rich. He has asset, which you're going to say housing, real estate or whatever in businesses. And then he has slaves working for him. So they pay no tax. A very low, under 20% tax. That's how Esau got rich. That's how he owns everything. Well, first of all, he took the country by war first. Then he set the systems up. All right, so the borrower, we are the borrowers. All right, we're serving to the lender, Esau Edom. All right, so what did the Lord say about touching the apple of the Lord's eye? We're the apple of the Lord's eye. We're the Lord's building. So if you did that, if you hurt us, when the judgment comes, when the Lord returns, he's going to destroy you. He's going to hit you with hot thunderbolts. Right? Those hot thunderbolts are going to be incurable. A lot of you are going to be put to death. Some of you are going to be burnt. All right? And the rest of them going into slavery. Right? can't put your hands on the Lord's anointed, all right? Which those are all Israel, all right? Even the wicked ones. You can't put your hand on us and walk away without being punished. We just got to suffer for a moment. All right, now suffering is about to come to an end. We just got to endure it. Because the Lord is cruel, long suffering. All right? I want Wisdom Solomon 6. 6 and 10, something like that. You guys know? Yeah.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and 44. It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Yeah, that's Esau's formula. He's rich. That's where how he get rich.
Read that too.
Esau, that's how he got rich. He had assets and slaves.
Gone. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
That's exactly how the system is set up. Even if you a celebrity or you got a business you're doing well, you're still a slave. You're still not above the tax. The taxman, whoever collects the tax, that's who the real rich people are. Whoever owns the majority of the real estate, those who the rich people are. Right?
Yeah.
You collect taxes from that real estate. All right. Hey, you're in charge. You're the rich man. Right?
Yep. Yeah, they found out early on that you can lend shit that you don't have and then charge a tax on it or interest on it and make twofold that money back. You know, just by lending out shit you don't have. You know, that's what the major banks did way back with gold. You know, lending out more than they could, and then they charge interest on it.
Had more banknotes than they had gold in reserve.
They had to have 40% of the actual gold in reserve.
They were able to make a killing on it. They made all that fucking money, and then they were able to, even do it even more. You know,
and then they, which, that was all by design, because what they were really doing was taking your gold.
Yep.
They were basically doing what is called a transfer of wealth, which is why they then in the latter end of it, passed laws where you can no longer use gold and silver as a medium of exchange in the global economy, on the markets. You have to use fiat currencies, debt-bearing notes, essentially. Debt-bearing notes.
And the system only works with a war machine also. It doesn't work by itself. You have to have control over industries and different nations. It doesn't work. But we can't just do that. Right. It ain't going to work.
Right. They have to subscribe to it in order for it to be reinforced.
Trust into it. Yeah.
But that's what the word fiat actually means.
Trust.
Yep. Let it be thus or so be true.
Yeah, so with that war machine,
I mean that they all agreed to it. They agreed.
Yeah, it don't work. The system don't work if you don't buy into it.
Right.
And so if you are angry that the Chinaman, the Korean dude is in your neighborhood selling you bad food and liquor that you fucking buy anyway, well, you got to stop buying from him. Once you stop buying from him, the system collapses.
Yeah, it's essentially a hostile takeover. That's why you got to go into documentaries like The Creature on Jekyll Island that talks about the big banking financial institutions that came together in that accord, in that agreement on how they were going to execute this new so-called Federal Reserve System. How they're going to unroll it.
1913.
Yep. So, if I may, this is back in Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to read verse 49. It says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. That's essentially talking about the Romans, but we can apply it to Esau as a whole. Okay, he adopted that symbol, right? He used it in Rome. He used it in Spain.
Take it down.
As a symbol, okay, as an emblem of his pride, for his military, and for his country, okay, so-called America, right? So we know this is talking about a particular nation who's enacting these things, and whom is going to lend to us and whom we're not going to lend to.